Your class doesn't panic because of the crisis. It panics because of you, not because you did something wrong, because of a wiring pattern built into every child's brain, one that has nothing to do with what actually happened in the room. Picture this. A student collapses. An alarm blares through the hallway. A child explodes into a screaming meltdown nobody saw coming. Or worse, a projector dies 30 seconds before an inspector walks in. In every one of these moments, your students are not reacting to the event itself. They are reacting to you. This is called emotional contagion, and it's one of the most consistent findings in how children regulate themselves. Kids, especially young ones, unconsciously mirror the nervous system of the adult in charge. Your breathing rate, your posture, your tone of voice. Their bodies pick up on all of it faster than their brains process your actual words. So if you panic, 25 nervous systems spike right along with you. But if you stay anchored, 25 nervous systems borrow your calm instead. That makes you something bigger than a teacher in a crisis. You become the regulator for the entire room. And regulation is a skill, not a personality trait. Here is exactly how it works, second by second, and then in the hours after the dust settles. Let's start with the first 3 seconds, because that's where most of this gets decided. When stress hits, your brain doesn't ask permission. It drops straight into survival mode, flooding your body with cortisol and adrenaline before you've consciously registered what's happening. Your heart rate spikes, your muscles tense, your thinking narrows. The goal in that instant is not to solve the crisis. It's to take back control of your own body, because your body is the signal the room reads first before a single word leaves your mouth. Here's the sequence. Step 1. Stop and breathe. Before you raise your voice or move impulsively, take one slow breath in through your nose, letting your belly expand, then release it slowly through your mouth. This single motion activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the body's built-in brake, through a nerve pathway called the vagus nerve. Your heart rate starts dropping within seconds of that one breath. Step 2. Anchor your body, plant both feet flat on the floor, drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw. Children read posture before they process language. A grounded stance broadcasts authority and safety without you saying anything at all. And here's where most people get it exactly backwards. Step 3. Go quieter, not louder. The human instinct under stress is to shout over the noise, but a raised voice pours more stress into a room that already has too much. Do the opposite. Drop your volume, slow your pace. A calm, low, deliberate voice forces children to lean in just to hear you, and that act alone pulls the tension of the whole room down with it. Step 4. Create distance from the moment. Silently repeat one line to yourself. I am the adult. I am the one in control here. This is a problem to solve, not an attack on me. That sentence separates your identity from the crisis, so you're thinking clearly instead of reacting from fear. That's your own body handled in under 10 seconds, but the room is still watching you, waiting to know what happens next. And this is the part almost no teacher training program actually covers. Courses talk about lesson plans and seating charts. Almost none of them teach nervous system regulation, even though it may be the single most protective skill you can bring into a room full of children. This is where guiding the children actually starts. Kids in a high-stress moment don't need a flawless teacher. They need a predictable one, someone whose next move they can count on. First, strip your language down to almost nothing. Under acute stress, a child's brain temporarily loses the ability to process long or complex sentences. So use short, direct action verbs only. We stop. Pens down, eyes on me. That's the entire instruction. Nothing more gets processed anyway. Second, name what's happening instead of pretending it isn't. If the stress is obvious, if there's an alarm, a loud crash, a classmate in visible distress, don't dodge it. State the fact plainly and without drama. There's an alarm going off. That's surprising, but we know exactly what to do. A neutral, factual tone stops children's imaginations from filling in a scarier story than what's actually happening. Third, and this one changes everything, give children a job. Action is one of the fastest known ways to pull a person out of freeze mode. A small concrete task moves a child from shock back into their thinking brain. Noah, close the door please. Leia, check that everyone is seated. It sounds like a small thing. It isn't. It's the difference between a student who spirals and a student who participates. This plays out a little differently depending on which crisis you're facing. If it's a medical emergency, a fall, a fainting, a bad reaction, your calm voice does double duty. It keeps the injured child from spiraling further, and it keeps the rest of the class from turning simple first aid into chaos. Send one student for help and keep everyone else occupied with a task instead of watching. If it's an uncontrollable meltdown, your job isn't to fix that child in the moment. It's to protect the group's sense of safety while giving the child space and calling for backup if needed. Redirect the rest of the class outward, a worksheet, eyes forward, so the group isn't staring at one child's worst moment. If it's an intrusion or lockdown situation, your calm, quiet, low voice becomes the single most important tool you have. Loud voices and visible fear can escalate danger. Clear, whispered instructions, sit, be still, stay quiet, delivered with a steady face, is exactly what school safety protocols are built around. If it's equipment failure in front of an inspector, the stakes feel enormous, but the danger is zero. And that's the moment to remember your inner line. This is a problem to solve, not an attack on me. A relaxed shrug and a quick pivot teaches the room more about resilience than a flawless lesson ever could. Notice what's consistent across every single one of these scenarios. It was never about having the perfect response to the specific emergency. It was about your nervous system staying online while everyone else's shuts down. Now, here's the part almost every teacher skips, and it's the part that actually protects you long term. Once the crisis is contained, the work is not finished. Don't snap straight back into the lesson like nothing happened. The nervous system needs a landing, not a hard stop, or that stress just gets buried instead of processed. Give the class 5 minutes. Do a shared breathing exercise together. Breathe in like you're smelling a flower. Breathe out like you're blowing out a candle, or simply name out loud what just happened in a few calm sentences. This isn't wasted instructional time. This is the exact window where a scary event either turns into a manageable memory or turns into something that lingers. Then it's your turn. Stress dumps cortisol and adrenaline straight into your bloodstream, and that chemical charge doesn't vanish the moment the room goes quiet again. The first chance you get at recess between classes, at the end of the day, move your body. Walk, stretch, step outside for 2 minutes and just breathe. You are physically discharging what your body just manufactured. And one more thing, don't carry this alone. A genuinely stressful classroom event leaves a residue, even for experienced teachers. Talk it through with a colleague, a principal, anyone who understands the job. Putting the event into words is what keeps it from following you home and sitting at your dinner table uninvited. This is also why the same teacher can handle a routine fire drill effortlessly, but freeze during their first real meltdown. Regulation isn't fixed, it's trained, the same way a muscle is trained, through repetition under low stakes until it holds under high stakes. None of these steps require special equipment or extra time. They take seconds, and they work because children's brains are already wired to look to you first. So tell me in the comments which specific crisis you want the exact protocol for. A violent meltdown, a medical emergency, a lockdown drill. That's a future lesson. Send this to a teacher before their next fire drill, because here's the whole lesson in one line. Your class doesn't panic because of the crisis. It panics because of you. And that means calm is something you can teach the room one breath at a time.